All right, are we here? Does this work? Post the number 8 in the chat if this actually works. I'm never going to forget the stream I did with Josh Haley, the one-wheel technician, where I spent 40 minutes talking to myself. So I've learned my lesson. All right, so we're here. So this is something that makes me sad. It looks like another business class ThinkPad has decided to change a lot of the design. What do you guys notice about this ThinkPad that is different from older ThinkPad designs? Do any of you see what's different? This is the ThinkPad Z13. No trackpad buttons. No trackpad buttons. It's very similar to the T440, because with the T440, Lenovo realized that not having trackpad buttons was a horrible idea. So with the T450, they changed it back. And it was good again. So you have, like, yeah, this was the T440. This was horrible. And then with the T450, let's see if I get a picture of that. They went back to something that is normal looking. Let's see. Here we go. Some pictures here. Some Google image searching. Yeah, so this. Ugh. Oh, where's the pic? Here we go. So this is the T440. Ugh. The T450, they said, okay, you know, we're going to fix that. We're going to go back to the way it was before. And now with the Z13, you're back to this shit again. That's kind of disappointing. I haven't really kept up with the ThinkPads, to be honest with you. I've had my P50 since like 2016. Haven't had a reason to replace it yet. And I got my framework now, so I'm probably not going to be replacing anything for a long period of time. This right in front of me is a framework. I talked about this in the recent video that I did. There's a video that I did yesterday talking about this. I mean, today talking about this device by a pond. This is the framework, the idea behind the framework. About framework, fixed consumer electronics. They want to make a repairable device. They want to make the parts available easy. They're trying to make schematics more available than they are. They're not available to everybody. You got to sign an NDA and shit like that. But it's better than nothing. They're putting in effort, and yeah, I'm happy to have it on stream. This is a framework, and I'm proud and honored to be using it. This laptop really isn't perfect. Like, again, listen to the fan while I'm streaming. It's not as powerful as an M1. I'll leave it at that. It's not as battery as efficient as an M1. But the company making it wants you to be able to fix what it is you buy, and that means a lot to me. How is your Bafang? My Bafang is lovely. I'm just not using it here in New Hampshire because the things are too far apart in the road, but there's no real bike lanes, and a lot of the roads here have 50 to 60 mile an hour speed limits. So that bike does do 48 to 50 miles an hour, but it doesn't do 60. So I'd have cars trying to swerve around me, and that would just be bad for everybody. But in New York City, where the speed limit's 25, and most people that drive there remember pre-de Blasio when it was 35, I'm not dealing with streets in New York City where people are going over 35 or 40 miles an hour. So the Bafang works really well in New York City, but in like rural New Hampshire, not really. The framework is a nice laptop. Again, I do have to get used to not having a trackpad. That does screw with me. And I remember saying that I was hoping that my next laptop would be one with a track point. But I'm willing to give up the track point if it means that I'm gaining something in repairability. Like if I'm sending the message that I am using a device made by a company that values repairability, I will sacrifice quite a bit to get that. But I honestly, besides the lack of track point and besides the fact that dollar for dollar, if I wanted to buy a MacBook or a P-Series ThinkPad, that I could get something that's way more powerful, I don't really honestly use the power. I mean, like, think about it. What are my videos are one take. Most of my videos I don't even bother editing. The newest video game that I play is Street Fighter V. There's really not much where I need a crazy powerful machine. This does everything that I need. So, how is your Monday night going? How is everybody's Monday night here going? That's a really silly question, Require Pan. Why do you think it's so much more open in software rather than hardware? Microsoft released free plugins for Unity Unreal Engine that accurately create acoustic simulations for games. Because Microsoft still has a lot of different ways of making money off of you. Like Microsoft's way of making money off of you is not based on charging people for plugins for Unity or Unreal Engine. They have a lot of other areas where they're looking to make money off of you. And by the way, they weren't really the biggest fans of right to repair to begin with. They went neutral on it in Washington, but that's only because they saw the way the tide is turning, and they could have easily decided to be positive on it rather than neutral. And again, they probably knew it wasn't going to pass anyway. But it's really more about where it is their money is actually coming from. Would you fight Sam Hyde? I don't know who Sam Hyde is, but I try to avoid fights whenever possible. I've gotten into a few fights in my life. I don't really, I don't know, I'm not really I think I'm confrontational, but I try to avoid physical altercations. Like I have a nice little scar right over here from somebody using a Mystic iced tea bottle to stab me with. And because I'm really slow and I suck at blocking, instead of doing this, or, I wound up just leaving my arm just floating out here. And that was so much bleeding. I try to avoid that. Who did your fans been drawing? Erica made that on a piece of paper 3 years ago, and she's so pissed that I used it because she wanted to make a good version of it. And I am very impatient, very similar to Sherlock, the guy who does my thumbnails. So I just took a picture of what she had written down on a napkin at a restaurant, and I made it my YouTube banner. She's like, hey, that's not finished yet. Start gambling. Gambling is bad. I've done 2 videos on gambling addiction, and yeah, just gambling's bad. Just avoid that all around. Gambling addiction, it really does activate the same part of your brain that winds up getting activated by cocaine or heroin, and it can easily destroy your life. Don't. Like I've known people with gambling addictions, I would suggest staying away from gambling. There are a lot of people that think that they're investing that are actually gambling, but since they use the word investing and they're using an application that you would use for investing, they tell themselves they're investing when they're actually gambling, and it can massively screw with your brain. Okay, it looks like we have 141 viewers and 31 likes, so I'm going to get a picture of Tim Cook until the likes more closely match the number of viewers. So here is a picture of Tim Cook looking smug. We are going to put this on screen until that is a bit more in line. There we go. Okay, so we got 127 viewers and 50. Yeah, we have less than 30% like rate. Yeah, we'd like to get more than a. I feel dirty doing this, but again, as I said in a recent video, you really do have to play the algorithmic game, or else your channel just gets Eli'd. You can never let your channel go full Eli the computer guy. Never let it get fully destroyed. Derek, I just explained an answer to your question, and you asked. Indeed, sell out. Yes. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Yes. Yes. Yeah, okay, we're close. Once we get it to 50%, I will take Tim Cook off the screen. Once likes are 50% of total viewers, well, Tim Cook will be off the screen. Indeed I do, Nick Landry. Indeed I do. I think there's a large number of people that watch this channel. You know, it was interesting. Rich Rebuilds got accused of like making the videos that he makes because he wants he's a Tesla short. And one of the funny things is if you actually try to do a direct plot where you plot the stock price of Tesla and the popularity of Rich Rebuilds' YouTube channel, Rich Rebuilds gain. I have to do this because of the mirror. Rich Rebuilds gains subscribers. Rich Rebuilds gains views. Tesla stock. It's almost a direct correlate. He has no effect on their stock price. I always found it funny when people accuse Rich Rebuilds of being a Tesla short to make money. Yeah. Tony Tone is here. Hello. A half gray tabby, half white cat just stopped by to see if Louis had any cats in the stream. I had to tell it no. Yeah, I don't have a cat here. Is there an option to correct the square wave to sine or just change my controller? I think it depends on the controller. I forget if it's square wave or trapezoid that's cheaper to make. But a sine wave controller is usually a little bit more difficult and a little bit more expensive to make. But it is really, really a massive, they're much better. So if you're using the Bafang stock controller on a Bafang BBS HD motor, and then you try something like a Phase Runner or an ASI BAC 855, which are really the same thing with different form factors, you'll notice it's massively different. You can't even compare the two. For the same amount of power output, you wind up getting much more speed. They're much more efficient. You get way better watt hours a mile on it. It's a lot better. In my opinion, it's worth it. But the thing that you get with a sine wave controller versus a square wave or a trapezoidal controller, above all else, is you're not going to be killing that little pinion or the nylon gear inside. Because with a square wave, it's a gong. Whereas with a sine wave, it's gong. Whereas, again, the square wave, it's always trying to just like shoot your... It's like always ripping on the chain. It's always like... It's not a smooth start. It's really, so even when you're going slow, like there are times where I've been going 11 miles an hour and I go on the throttle and I haven't even made it to 13 miles an hour, which is pretty slow on that bike. And I've killed the pinion or the nylon gear. Let's see if I can get a picture of that over here. You'll notice a massive difference in your electric bike if you do that. Yeah, this thing. I don't want to link to Luna Cycle because I'm not a fan of them, but here we go. California e-bike. I love this company. The owner is a really down-to-earth, cool dude. I've spoken to him on a couple occasions. This thing, it's so easy to kill this thing on a Bafang BBS HD. Like, this guy must make good money selling this thing, because if you're using the stock controller, you're probably killing... I was killing like 4 of those a year until I changed my... once I changed my controller over to a sine wave, I don't think I've killed a single one of them. And I've done a lot of crazy stuff on that bike. You know about the Montessori method of teaching? I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it. You know, when it's not depressing and gray and seasonal affective disorder, New Hampshire is beautiful. New Hampshire in the spring and New Hampshire in the fall, and honestly even in the summer, are really nice. The winter and the early spring here are very depressing because it's not the weather that gets you. It's not just the coldness that gets you. It's the dreariness when you go outside. It's the gray, dark blue dreariness every single day that starts to grate on you and become depressing. I think it's that combined with this. I think New Hampshire is a great place to settle if you have a family and or if you're starting a family, but you're with a person that you've been with for a few years and you're getting married or are married. New Hampshire is a great place. If you're single and young and looking to meet people, New Hampshire may not be the place for you. But it definitely is nicer in the spring. Like I was doing a stream on the live channel just earlier today, just driving down Greenville Road, and it's beautiful. Again, you just driving down, and then I was talking with somebody who was asking about the non-aggression principle and right to repair, and we had a little bit of a talk about that, and I just stopped by a pond, just stopped my car on the side right by this pond, and I don't know, it's nice. It's like the nature here is genuinely beautiful. It's just it's not necessarily the cold that gets me, though the cold does suck. Again, negative 14-degree winter, that sucks. That's painful. I'd rather have a 105-degree summer where you're getting sunburn outside unless you put suntan lotion on, than deal with negative 14 winter. Negative 4, like, fuck that. It's really this is something that is, an issue with the Northeast in general. The seasonal affective disorder or the feelings of depression that show up when every day you wake up and it's just gloomy as fuck for a week or two at a time. The sunlight is sunlight every day is really difficult to get depressing. I would disagree with you. I'd push back against that. Again, there's no such thing to my knowledge as seasonal affective disorder because of too much sunlight. Rather, there's such thing as seasonal affective disorder due to no sunlight or too little. Preparing for my electrical engineering course by watching Louis. I wonder if I can get my professor to count this for credit. I sincerely doubt that, especially if he looks up my video on how a transistor works, even though that's a video that I think has helped a lot of people to understand how a transistor works if they're not really good at school. The technical definition is so far from what it is I have in that video that I don't think that any college professor would want you watching that stuff. Good storage shelving. Uline has a lot of interesting stuff. And Global Industrial. I would check out Uline or Global Industrial. How do you come with your brand name? I find it's difficult to come up with one. Well, in the show called Entourage, this guy wants to make it seem like he has a big firm, even though it's just him. So he calls it the Murphy Group, even though it's literally just him and some old lady that's a receptionist. So I came up, again, I didn't have a group of people, and a lot of people seemed to be a little bit, they seemed a little bit hesitant to work with a one-person company that's working out of his apartment and traveling to Herald Square Park to do repairs and meet people there in sweatpants and a $5 Hanes undershirt. So I called my company the Rossmann Group. They don't need to know that the group is just the three personalities inside of my brain. That's not their, if they want to make assumptions about what Rossmann Group means, that's their business. Yeah, Rossmann, I'm not creative. I'm not a creative-minded person. So my business name was essentially my name plus the word group. And that worked to get people to be more comfortable using my company. How is the audit going? It's going at the speed of New York bureaucracy. It's going at the speed of New York bureaucracy. And with each passing day, a new hair turns gray or falls out of my head as I wait to figure out whether or not I still have a business at the end of all this. But I look forward, and I've come up with some plans as to what I will do. And if it goes well, I know I'm going to do this. If it goes I'm going to do this. If the worst case scenario happens, I will do this. Here's something that I've noticed that helps me a lot in life. This is something that I think will help a lot of people. Coming up with a plan for what you will do in each scenario is much better than this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen. So for instance, I'm really careless when it comes to my passport and my ID. I lose them all the time. And I had to go out of the country recently. I went to visit Dubai, and I didn't have my passport. And I thought, oh crap, if I don't find my passport, if I don't get my passport, I won't be able to go. So if you're running around your apartment going, oh my God, I must find my passport, I must find my passport, I must find my passport, I don't think you're actually going to find your passport because you're very nervous, you're very anxious, and you don't really know what you're going to do. If you say to yourself, if I find my passport, I will be going to Dubai. If I don't find my passport, then I will have to find a way to have fun where I am right now because I'm not going to Dubai. You can then relax. Like if I find it, I'll go. If I don't find it, maybe I'll just spend the week at Casey's Rib Shack and eat brisket all day. I don't know, whatever. Once you're in a more relaxed state, then it's actually easier for you to calm down and then actually look in the place that you may not have looked and actually find your passport rather than keep looking over it. So with my audit, I was going, oh my God, what if I don't have a business? Oh my God, what if they try to fuck me? Oh my God, what if they actually what if they say all this stuff is sales taxable when it really isn't? Oh my God, what if I have to go to court to prove it isn't? And even though I win my case, I spent $200,000 on lawyer's fees and I'm bankrupt anyway. That doesn't allow me to be in the mindset to actually win. So what I've done is I've come up with several plans. If it goes well, I'll do this. If they screw with me, I'll do this. If they screw with me massively, I will do this. And what that allows me to do is calm down and then actually come up with a plan that will allow me to succeed in life rather than, shoot myself in the head or jump off a bridge. And so what helps me is having, knowing what it is I'm going to do. If this happens, I'll do this. If that happens, I'll do that. And if that happens, I do that. And what I do is I come up with a plan ahead of time. And here's the thing. I don't change it later. So I come up with a plan. I'm going to do this if this happens, that if that happens, and that if that happens. And then once I realize what is going on, if it's something I can't control, even if I can't control the outcome, I at least control how I respond to the outcome by coming up with a plan ahead of time. And that is what has helped me over the course of my life. Again, not jump off a bridge or shoot myself in the bottom of the chin when something horrible happens. And that's been helpful. So yeah, that sucks, but I came up with my plan over the past 2 months, and I'm sticking with my plan. And I'm looking. And once everything is over, I have a number of different things I'm going to be trying out, and that's that. That is that. The thing that sucks is not really. I can't choose a final destination to move the business to, and I can't sign a new lease in a new place, open a new company, or any of those things until I know like what I'll have left of this business. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. I'm excited for my future. Regardless of which way it goes, I have a plan for each way as to what it is I'm going to do. It's true, just have a plan for the things that can go wrong. You never feel stressed and anxious when things do go wrong. Yeah, because like even if the worst possible case scenario happens, at least I have an idea of what I'm going to do. Because if I'm just going, oh my god, what happens? What happens? Then I feel out of control. I spin out of control. I won't be able to go to sleep. I won't be able to focus on anything. I won't be able to live my life. But if I at least know if this happens, this is the plan and how I'm going to deal with it, and I'll feel like I'm in control again, even if I'm not. And that's what matters to me. Can you press your feelings on today's economic stagflation? Not happy. I don't know. Did he make it on time? Who's he? And make it to what? Spoiler alert, if it goes badly, he's running for New York City mayor. No, fuck that. Not even close, Sonny. Fuck that. You couldn't pay me enough for that job.
Oh, sweet mercy.
What's for dinner tonight, Louis? You know, I went to a place called Casey's Rib Shack, which is quite an amazing place. And I made a community post today that I will be at Casey's Rib Shack tomorrow at 3 p.m. if anybody wants to show up. 837 2nd Street in Manchester, New Hampshire. So if anybody is open to it, check my community page. I post meetups from there from time to time. I'm also going to do another one sometime this week. That'll be later because I get that a lot of people are not available at 3 in the afternoon. So I'll do another one later this week that's a little bit later in time. But yeah, I did have a very high quality beef brisket at Casey's Rib Shack. That place is so fucking addictive, man. Like, again, I've tried brisket in Ohio, Wisconsin, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Kansas when I went to Olathe in Kansas, Tennessee. I've yet to have brisket as good as what's at Casey's Rib Shack, or the sauce as good as what's at Casey's Rib Shack. That place is just fucking good. That place is just good. It's addictive. Like, Manchester is such a shithole, but I still fondly look for houses in that area just so that I could walk to Casey's Rib Shack every single day for 3 meals. Are you selling your repair business? No, because nobody would buy that. Nobody's going to buy that shit. A lot of people say that I'm a millionaire because I could sell my repair business for $1 million at any time, but most of those people are people that don't understand business and have no money. There are not people lining up to make me offers to buy my repair business. I might be able to sell my domain name, my domain name and phone number for $20,000. There is value because the business does have a lot of 5-star reviews. So if you Google Rossmann Group, if you just Google, let's see, MacBook, Logic Board Repair, even though I have a New Hampshire IP, what the hell? One moment. Yeah, even though I have a New Hampshire IP, my shit shows up first here. So like if you search for MacBook board repair, you get that. If you search MacBook repair New York City, this dude is cheating the system and he shows up. So what this guy did is he pretty much took a search term. He took a search term and made it his business name. Now, that's against the rules at Google, but here's the one thing that's funny is like Google talks about all this anti-spam stuff. I think the guy's name is Matt Cutts. Matt Cutts used to be one of the leads of spam or web spam in search at Google. And he has a really interesting blog where he goes over a lot of the stuff that Google does. But one of the things I find funny is that after over 20 years, at the end of the day, a company that is cheating the system still is at the top of whatever. But I have a top Google ranking here for MacBook Repair New York City. If you go to Maps, let's see. If you scroll by to find other places, let's see. If you Yeah, this guy is this is a good scam. This is a quality scam. Like I approve of I like making your. Let's see. So let's say I were to go to Google Maps, right? Okay, MacBook repair Manhattan. Da, 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 da. Yeah, like 1,451 reviews, 4.9 stars. So like in one of the most populous, in the most populous city in the U.S., I have the most and the best reviews. So I think I could, if I wanted to sell my domain name, my website, and my phone number, I could probably get like a good $20,000 for that. But I really like that. The amount of money I could get for selling my domain name and my phone number, I don't think would really make a large difference in my life. So doing so is just not something that I consider. But I think I could get a solid $2,000. I think I could get like a solid 20K. My stepdad makes the best brisket I've ever seen. When we get a stream with you, hi. You got a stream, you got a video the other day of me drunk. Very drunk. Let's see if I find that. Why am I encouraging this? I shouldn't be encouraging this. But Rumble. Here we go. This is a Rumble only. This is a Rumble only. Check it out. Look at that. I earned 12 cents. Before, I only earned 3 cents off this video. I'm going to be balling soon. Yeah, so that was me with some Everclear, if anybody is interested. That was a fun one. I enjoyed that one. What's the worst customer experience you've ever had? I don't know. I hate that question. I don't want to take it out. Like, I don't want to pick on you, but I don't remember these things. You know, like when I have those types of bad experiences that go, like it leaves my body the moment it's over. If I hung on to those experiences, I would most certainly have jumped off a bridge right now. Steve is really good at this. Like he just keeps redirecting. He's the manager and he's a genius at taking your, like a problem that you're trying to make his problem and making it your problem. But at the end, like, you can't piss him off. It's impossible for you to make him mad because it just goes in one ear. Like he'll deal with it and then it's just out of his mind the moment the person leaves the store. So like I can't really answer that question because I don't hold on to those experiences. Like, you know, I don't catalog all of them in my memory. We've had a lot of douchebag customers over the year. As you know, again, having a store in the East Village of New York City for 8 years, there's a lot of douchebag customer experiences, but it's just like, you know, the Apple store is on 9th and 14th. Bye. I most likely would have been able to have 5 stars instead of 4.9 if, like, when somebody walked in and was a true asshole, I just sucked their dick like every other business does instead of tell them, you know, go away. Like, I've told people, get out of my store, like, go away, fuck you, no, I'm not servicing you. I've done that many times. But yeah, I don't remember those experiences because I don't deal with them. I don't deal with them. Daniel Infant, that is a paywall question. Any question that I get 30 times a day, I've decided to turn into a paywall question. The value is in you, not the business. I don't know if the value is in either, honestly. Just change your last name, SEO problem solved. Yeah, I'm going to change my last name to MacBook. I think that would be smart. How did you celebrate today's holiday? I didn't. I don't really celebrate most holidays. I don't celebrate my birthday. I celebrate Christmas by taking off work, but only sometimes, and by listening to Frank Sinatra. But that's about it. Like, I really don't celebrate most holidays. You're undervaluing your brand by 4 or 5 million. See, here's the thing, and this is the thing with people like Dead Privacy. When you say something has a value, its value is based on what other people think it is worth. So, for instance, I think that a Bitcoin is worth nothing. However, somebody else out there thinks a Bitcoin is worth $20,000 or $30,000 or $50,000. If enough people disagree with me and are actually willing to spend $50,000 on some random fucking string of encrypted whatever, or whatever the fuck, or cryptography, fine, that's the value. Conversely, if people in my YouTube chat will say that my business is worth $5 million, however, the most that anybody is willing to offer at any given point in time is $5,000 to $20,000, then it doesn't matter what you all think, it matters what somebody is willing to spend. Your personal opinions are fundamentally have no value. What somebody is willing to spend is what has value. Ultra Noob. Thank you, Ultra Noob, for the ass. Thank you for your 5 Australian ass dollars. Is Paul Daniels for sale? If he was, I would have bought him by now. Are you planning on doing any more conventions or trade shows anytime soon? Yeah, there's actually this conference thing that I may be going to. It's Light something. What is it called? It's in Austin, Texas. Let me find the name of it. This is... Yeah, I may actually be heading to Austin this weekend. It's called Lightwave. Lightwave is the name of it. Yeah, Lightwave is the name of it. So I may be heading to that. I may be in Austin, Texas for a few days. I'm debating driving there versus flying. If I fly, somebody else is paying for it, and I also don't have to spend 2 or 3 days on the road. If I drive, I have to spend 2 or 3 days on the road, but once I get there, I'll have a car, so I'll be able to spend a little bit more time there, explore around Texas, see how I like it, see if my audit goes well, if that's a place I'd open a store at. But again, that's 2 to 3 days of driving, me paying for the 2 to 3 days of driving, plus the motels along the way. So I've been, and also I'd have to leave earlier, so I'd be losing out on a lot of time. So I've been debating one way or the other what I would do. You don't behave incredibly differently while drunk. True, David Cheng, true. Don't spend all that 12 cents in one place. Yes. What are your thoughts on Ohio? I haven't spent enough time there. I went to Grove City Barbecue, and it was... I went to City Barbecue in Grove City, Ohio, and it gave me an amazing... an amazing impression of Ohio. Is Yelp still a mafia? I don't think anything has changed there, in my opinion. Hard work is what made me who you are, and you inspire me. Thank you. Are you moving your business to Florida? That is now going to become a paywall question. We are going to turn this into a capitalist stream. If I've answered a question 3 to 5 times in a week and I get asked it again, I will make it a super chat only question. Or you can rewind the video by about 90 seconds to get the answer. You ever get into contact with Better Biomed? Guy who sent you the audio interface years ago. I haven't. I honestly don't remember. I remember some guy who did medical equipment sent me stuff. I think I left a comment on his YouTube channel. I left 1 or 2 comments on his YouTube channel, but I haven't emailed him back and forth. But I would definitely be open to doing a collaboration with him or doing an interview. There's a lot about the medical industry that I would want to learn from somebody who works within it when it comes to device repair. Since there is we did try in Illinois to get a medical right to repair bill pushed forward, but we failed. But I did put some lobbying effort into that. Any tips for replacing a display in A1708? It'll be my first big repair. Are you talking about the display assembly or the LCD by itself? The display assembly, there's really not a lot of ways to fuck that up unless you don't remove the battery before doing it. The LCD only, there's a ton of ways to fuck that up. Watch a lot of videos on that. There's a video on my channel on how to replace a screen on an A1502 Retina MacBook Pro back when Milan used to work here. And if you watch that video, it might prepare you to do that. I haven't done a video on this because my staff despise me asking them to do repair videos and will not do repair videos even if I tell them. I've literally went to my staff and said, put on this piece of paper what you want to do videos. You can tell me you want more days off. You can tell me that you want $1,000 every time you do a repair. Like, you could literally write anything over here that you want, and we'll go from there. And none of them have done it. So like literally, there's no amount of money that will get people to want to do repair videos here. And I've tried. I've tried like carrot, stick, virtually every approach possible. But back in the day when I actually was able to trick people into doing repair videos, I did a video on the A1502. Unfortunately, this technician no longer works here, and also he passed away in July of last year, unfortunately. God rest his soul. He was a really good dude. But he did a video on everything that you're likely to fuck up when you are replacing the screen on any one of these new Retina models. And I'm going to link this video in the chat. I would really suggest that you that you watch a video like this, and then also watch videos that are unique to your model so that you can understand what it is you're getting yourself into. So this is another video that I would suggest watching. Let's see, I have how to replace. Yeah, again, this is MacBook Air. To be clear, this is not your model. Again, I'm never going to be able to get my staff to do repair videos on a regular basis. I literally cannot fucking bribe them even to do that. But most of these modern screen repairs, it's the same general idea. When Apple started using the adhesive to have the LCD screen as literally a stuck part of the display assembly rather than screws, It's very easy for you to mess up the backlight layers, and if you mess up the backlight layers, these are usually not sold, and when they are sold, they're pulled out of other devices, so they have marks on them. If you mess up the backlight layers behind the display, it'll never look the same. This is not like the older machines where you take out 4 or 6 screws. This is not like a framework where you just do this, and then you just pull the bezel off, and then you take 5 screws out, and if you mess up the screen, you can just put another screen in. On the newer MacBook Pros or MacBook Airs, Pros from 2012 and on for Retinas, Airs from 2010 and on, if you take the LCD out and you get any marks on those back layers, if your finger touches it, you're never going to be able to clean your fingerprints off of it. A microfiber is not going to do, lens cleaner is not going to do. Any liquid you get on those back layers will mess them up even worse. Anything you touch on there is going to fuck them up. You need to not touch the back layers. It's very important. So if you understand the technique and you understand what you're likely to mess up, it'll make things a lot easier for you. So please do use the links that I put in the chat. Watch those, but then also watch some people who have successfully done the A1708 MacBook screen repair that are not leaving anything out. Again, the procedure is different, even though it's the same general concept. If you're replacing LCD only by itself, and I understand why you want to do that because you save money, LCD only, you can buy that part anywhere from $100 to $200, whereas display assembly is going to cost you $400 to $500. It is a way to save money, but it's also a lot easier to screw things up. So just be very careful when you do that, and watch a lot of those videos beforehand, and more importantly, watch what people screw up in those videos so that you don't screw that up. I am behind in chat by about 10 minutes. How's the house been treating you? I don't own a house. Have you heard or seen Bill C11? I have not. I don't have the attention span to hang out for streams. I figured a couple of minutes to say thanks for the content and advocacy. Thank you very much, TalGuy21, and I'll shamelessly suggest that you hit like on the stream. What's your opinion on workers that resign without notice? Well, there are certain times where I think it's warranted. For instance, I had given 2 weeks' notice at Modell Sporting Goods because they were not open to, regardless of how much sales in the department went up, and regardless of how much I cleaned up, thank you, it's an assembly replacement. Then you can't fuck that up. Even if you could fuck up a wet dream, you're not going to fuck up display assembly replacement. Just make sure that you unplug the battery. Make sure you unplug the battery power, not just a little, make sure you unplug battery power before you get started, and you're good. If you're doing display assembly, that's massively simpler. You don't have to worry about much at all. So workers resigning without notice. At Modell Sporting Goods, I made $6 an hour. That was minimum wage. Once you enter the union, you make 17.5 cents additional per hour. However, the way unions work and the way this union worked is they fucked you. So they pretended to represent they pretended to represent the interests of the worker, when in reality, in order for the raise that I got of 17.5 cents to counteract the mandatory union dues that I couldn't leave even if I wanted to, I had to work 70 to 80 hours a week, which I didn't, and which was also illegal because I was a teenager at that point in time. So I asked, listen, I'm not going to ask for a raise for nothing. How much do I need to increase the sales in this department? How much value do I need to offer before I can get a raise to 7 or 8? I didn't want more money because a raise to $7 an hour actually meant something to me in terms of my finances. I wanted a raise because just for my own self-confidence. I just didn't want to make minimum. Like, there was a guy that I work with named Anthony. Yeah, bro, he's a fucking Staten Island stoner, bro. He's always talking like this, bro. I ain't doing any fucking work, bro. I'm just gonna show up, punch in, get my fucking money, buy some fucking weed, bro. I ain't stocking no shelves, bro. Holy shit, bro. And all I needed was a sign that I make more than him, that I have more value to this company than him. We are equal in the eyes of God, but in the eyes of Mitchell Modell, can you tell me, so that I don't feel like a fucking moron for working here, that I am worth more than him? I wanted to actually get some more money, just so that it was like, I didn't feel like an idiot for doing work since I worked in the department with this dude. I have nothing against him, to be clear. If you're making $6 an hour, you fucking get what you pay for. That's what you get, and again, I don't blame him for not wanting to work. But since I was willing to put in work and effort, I'd go under the gondolas. The gondolas are the things that stock the shelves. People like Anthony, when they found a product that didn't have a SKU on it, they would throw it under the fucking gondola. What I would do is I would pick it up from out from under the gondola, figure out what it was, put a barcode on it so that we could sell it at a discount, at least get some money. I did my best to make that company more money. And after a year, there was literally nothing. Like, I was still making $6.175 an hour, the same amount of money as any other schmuck that showed up and didn't do anything. So I finally put my 2 weeks of notice in. Then I put in my 2 weeks notice. I'm still doing all the extra work that I used to do, still trying to make the department as much money as humanly possible. I personally believe, even if you're getting minimum wage, if you sign up for a job and you agree to do a job, you should do the best possible work possible. Not even because of the company, just because you should hold yourself to a standard where whatever it is you're doing, you should be doing well. I think anything worth doing is worth doing well, and not doing it well is not doing something well when people can see that you're the one doing the work. I think it's just kind of an affront to your dignity. It's like anything worth doing is worth doing well. So I'm doing my job. Now the heat blows, not the heat, the air conditioner dies at this location. It's a store 62 in Staten Island, Model Sporting Goods. And they have, I forget if it was an aluminum or steel roof. It was a metal roof. It's the middle of summer. They have a polyester jersey that you're supposed to wear, and when you work in there, it's really hot. So I take off the jersey, but I keep on my name tag, and I'm still walking up to every customer. How can I help you? What can I do for you? I'm still finding barcodes for all the shit people throw into the gondolas. And the manager says, you have to wear the polyester jersey. And I said, it's 97 degrees in the store right now. It's over 90 degrees outside. It's really hot. Do you mind if while I'm doing the stock, if I just have the name tag on, if I'm asking people for help? And he looks at me and he goes, pussy. I said, fuck you. I threw my name tag at him and I left. Do I feel bad that I quit with no notice? No, fuck that dude. I'm already making I'm making fucking minimum wage. I'm working in a store without air conditioner. I'm doing more work than everybody else. And rather than just deal with it, you're like, he's leaving in a week anyway, so I don't have to be nice to him. There are times when quitting without notice makes absolute sense. The thing is, here's the problem. There's no way for me to know in a job interview if you're lying when you're telling me that story. So I personally think if somebody would have quit under that particular circumstance, that's totally fine. I don't care that you quit with no notice. But the thing is, if you quit with no notice, I don't know you. You have to keep this in mind in a job interview. I don't know you from a hole in the wall. How do I know if you're lying or not lying? I don't really. Again, if I have a rapport with you, if we're friends, if we've been acquaintances, if we've been colleagues in the past, and there's an opportunity for you to work at my business, then that's different. But if you're literally some dude that's applying off a Monster or Indeed or Craigslist, I don't know you. I don't know if your story is credible. So you have to keep that in mind. Even if you actually did leave a job under bad circumstances for a reason where even the employer would understand the circumstances, the problem there is he has no way to know if you're bullshitting or not. And that's what can cause a problem. But yeah, I don't mind. There are lots of times where I've, fired people without notice. So it's completely fair that people can quit without notice. Again, the people that I've fired without notice have likely told people Louis is a dick, you shouldn't work for his company. And conversely, if somebody quits without notice, I may think, well, you're a dick, don't. But again, I'm literally not allowed to say that on the phone. There are times, if somebody calls and asks for a reference, I literally say they worked here from this time to this time, and that is that. I think Apple would give you $5 million if you stop business. I haven't had the offer. Honestly, it would be tempting. I'll be honest. Again, I'm not the angel that many of you think I am. If Apple said, here's a check for this amount of money, go out of business, you'd probably be surprised how low the number would have to be for me to consider it. Honestly, 5 or 10 years ago, I would have said no because I was much more idealistic and I had not gone through the things in life that I have now. Maybe it's just because I'm older, tired, more stressed, more aggravated, but, or maybe it's just looking down shit like this audit or other stuff. It's after, seeing the potential destruction of your business and way of life and all the money that you've ever worked for and then some, it's honestly easier to take the easy way out. But again, it has to be being offered. As I said in the sellout video, you need to have something worth selling in order to actually see if you are a sellout or not. I would never quit on you, Louis, without notice. You never know. Again, I'm an asshole as an employer. I'm a very difficult person to work for. So I could understand people quitting without notice. I've only had that happen once in 11 years, and the person who did it 3 times asked about coming back to work here, and I never accepted it. Mostly because not only did they quit without notice, but they didn't tell me that he said he was sick, but he wasn't sick. He was actually setting up his own business. I was paying him to set up his own business, which is kind of fucked up. No, I would beat it with a baseball bat. So anybody with an A1226 MacBook, there's a video that I'm going to require that you watch. There's a video that I'm going to require that you watch. God rest his soul. This technician is no longer with us, but he worked with me for 4 years and he was a solid dude. And he did an amazing video on your model computer that I put in the chat. And I think that that's as true as it gets. Wear the sunglasses so you can have people super chat why you're wearing sunglasses. Let's have a vote. Should I wear douchey sunglasses in this video? Type Y for yes or N for no. Let's see how the vote goes. Would you ever work for Elon Musk? For the right amount of money, and if it's a job that I think where I think that there's actual value that I could offer, then yes. He did BTF me on SEO. And it's funny because he's cheating using the biggest scam possible, which is he's claiming that his business name is a search term, which is hysterical. Google is really, really bad when it comes to spam and SEO. It's very, very easy to scam their system. And they claim with all these advanced super algorithms, this, that, and the other. Like, no, it's literally like anybody can scam the system. And I made it obvious earlier. Ever considered putting together a training course and selling it or using it for franchising at a corporate level? Your honest business? Yes, I did. It's called youtube.com. I was fired without notice. Yeah, but you were watching YouTube videos all day, you fuck. You weren't doing any goddamn work. You didn't fix anything. Man, if Viniera were here, she'd fucking slap you. She'd slap you silly. Viniera, my old receptionist, was arguing with Sonny all the time because he would just sit there watching YouTube and not actually do work. The attitude that you had with customers back then, too. I stand behind firing you, Sonny. Yeah, let's see. Let me find my channel playlist. Yeah, so when it comes to making videos, or training videos, I have done 600. So I don't think I could sell training videos because here's the thing. I've released 600 plus videos for free and nobody watches them. So if people don't watch them when they're free, it's very difficult for me to imagine people watching them when they're money. You know what they say? Most people quit their boss, not their job. You think people ever quit on you for that reason? When it comes to people, like I've honestly had a very low number of people quit. The guy who quit with no notice said that he quit because he didn't like one of the coworkers, but I wound up firing her 2 weeks later because she was absolutely horrible. Another person quit because they wanted to get a job in the medical profession. Because let's face it, like no offense to myself or the people who work here, this is kind of a dead end job. Like it's a small repair shop, you know. A small repair shop is never going to be able to pay somebody $150,000 a year and give them benefits and shit like that. Like it's a small electronics repair shop, you know. It's like working at like Casey's Rib Shack. You know, like Casey's Rib Shack is a great place. It's just like you're never going to make $150,000 a year, you know, making brisket or serving people brisket. So there was one person that was a really great person and still a great friend who after several, you know, she was going to college and now she has a job at a hospital and she has benefits and all that. And I'm proud of her. Another person quit because they were moving away when they figured out they were pregnant. But yeah, other than that, like I haven't had anybody. Oh, and another person quit because they had a very, very bad cocaine addiction, and they actually wound up passing away, which was really sad. But other than that, I haven't had like I think I've had 4 quits in 10 years, but like I don't think I've had quits for that reason. And the person with the cocaine addiction actually did ask for a job again 7 years later when he started to get clean, but by then it was too late. He had done too much damage to his heart, and he wound up passing away. I mean, technically, it said the autopsy said natural causes, but I don't think they put much effort into like accurate autopsies for people of his socioeconomic status. And I sincerely doubt that you die of natural causes at the age of 46. Okay, but again, whoever was asking about the what was I saying? Oh yeah, the selling courses thing. So one sec, my computer is freezing here. Framework, come on. I said some good things about you today. Come on, little framework. You can do it. You can load a website. Okay, it's trying to load it. Here we go. So this over here is... Oh my God, this is so... Jesus Christ. Come on. Okay, here we go. So this is my MacBook component level board repair playlist. This does not include live streams. This does not include a lot of the older stuff that I've unlisted. There are 626 videos here, and most of those videos, when I go into analytics, actually lose subscribers. So I don't think that I would be able to sell a course because I can't get people to watch them for free. So yeah, you can't sell what you cannot give away for free. But I wouldn't really want to sell a course on that. Like, again, there's a reason I make all this stuff available for free. It's I know that most people that get started in this business are getting started from nothing. You know, like they work for Walmart, they made $30,000 a year, and now they want to try to make more. Like, I want the information. I want the information to be out there for free. And I also make the information on let's see, where's the guide? Where is that? Here we go. I think it's here. Is this it? I hope this is it. Let's see. Okay, I have to load that fucking page again. Jesus Christ. I don't know why this is so slow. This is horrible. Look at this. My computer's trying its best. Here we go. I also have this beginner's guide over here. You know, like, I mean, I make these resources available for free. Like, I mean, there's not really, I'm not going to try to sell a course when, like, I already have all of this stuff available for free. Like, I mean, I believe in the information and the education being free. Now, if you want me to feed that shit to you, then that costs money. You want to be able to message me and say, hey, what is wrong with my particular board? Gotta pay me. You want me to fix your board? Pay me. But otherwise, yeah, I make I make the information free. I'm behind by about 20 minutes. So 1 sec. I'm going to scroll through here. I'm at 8:30 in chat, and it looks like it's 8:54. Don't spend that 12 cents all in one place. You know, I'll try not to. Yelp is a garbage company. I agree with you. What repair have you made in hobby or professionally which seemed far out of your wheelhouse but you were ultimately able to complete? MacBook motherboard. I don't know what the fuck I was doing when I started doing this. Louis, I recently refused to board a plane out of anxiety and nervousness of failing at a conference. Your anxiety and the self-help video give me so much practical insight. Keep the videos going. Thank you, Junkster. Hope you're able to get over that. But you legally can't say anything bad about someone who calls for a reference, right? True. There was one person that had completely lied about their qualifications in order to get a job here, like 110% lied. And it was, the thing is, I didn't know how to do the work that they were doing, so I didn't really know that they weren't qualified. I had to actually learn how to do what they were doing in order to find out that they were bullshitting me for 3 months. So somebody called and they said, would you rehire this person? And I said, did this person work for you? And I said, they worked for me from June 26th through September 20th. Would you hire this person? They worked for me from June 26th through September 20th. Do you think that person was a good human being? They worked for me from June 26th through September 20th. And the person on the other end's like, that doesn't sound like a ringing endorsement. And I said, they worked for me from June 26th to September 20th. And they said, so you're trying to tell me is that I shouldn't hire this person. And then I said, they worked for me from June 26th through September 20th. And she says, thank you, goodbye. I didn't say anything bad about them. Whenever you send in devices for repair to the biggest device, oh fuck, I missed it. 1 sec. I missed it. I'll find it in a moment. Yeah, this person had went out of their way to lie about their qualifications, and he cost me like $14,000. One of the difficult things as a boss is if I don't know how to do your job, it's difficult. Like when you say, well, you can't do this in less than 12 hours because all these things have to be done first. All this preparation has to be done. If I don't know how to do your job, I'll just go like, okay. Like, I don't know if I'm being an asshole by having too high expectations. But once I actually learned how to do this person's job, it's like, you lied. You straight up, you lied in your resume. You lied for the past 3 months to me. You wasted over $15,000. Now, again, I'm not allowed to say when somebody he uses, if he's using me as a reference, I can't say this person flat out lied to me and wasted $15,000 of my money. But all I'm allowed to do is say, I can confirm that you worked from the time. I can confirm the time that you worked here. It was so funny. The person on the other end's like, do you think this is a good person? Do you think I should hire them? And I'm just like, this person worked for me from June 26th through August 20th or September 20th. It was such a fun. And the person at the other end, thanks very much. I don't know what to say. Like, whenever you send devices for repair to the biggest defib manufacturer in the country, they quote you to replace basically everything screen board, $7,500 for a broken charge board. How do you combat that? First thing is, I don't know what what's defib manufacturer? Oh, you mean defibrillator. They quote you to replace basically everything. $7,500 for a charge board. You combat that. You combat it, okay, can you get a charge port somewhere else? Is there anything you can do to fix it? Like, are you forced to go through the manufacturer? Are there any third parties out there that will do it? The thing is, what you have to do is you have to find the me of defibrillators. How hard is it to find the me of defibrillators? You can't quit with notice. There are people that quit this place with notice. The woman that got a job at the hospital gave me a good amount of notice to find somebody else, and I really appreciated that. Like, she appreciated that I kept her on the clock with payroll while she was going to college. So if she was 2 or 4 hours late to work because she was at college, I still paid her for the time that she was at college. And then she repaid me by putting in maximum effort at the job, giving me notice when she quit, and doing the best to train a replacement. Like, it goes both ways. You know, I understand that you do amazing work. You go above and beyond and you put the maximum effort in. In exchange for putting the maximum effort in, I'm not going to deal with you like a fucking punch clock employee and you're, okay, you know, I'm going to dock you an hour or 2 here because you're late while you're going to school. I'll pay you while you're going to college, and I fully understand that when you get your degree, the last thing that you're going to want to do is work at some fucking hole-in-the-wall, 600 square foot repair shop replacing keyboards and MacBook screens all day. But she did give me notice when she quit. She did an amazing job the entire time, and she was a great asset to my business when she worked here, and we're still friends today. Come see Chicago again. Fuck that. No, fuck that. How much to open a store in Sweden? You know, I'm not really interested in opening stores all over the world right now. I'm really just interested in getting through my audit here and then getting the fuck out of New York City the moment that that is done. What would you do with your life if you took $5 million? What I would do is I would buy a house for $1 million. I would put $1 million in the bank, and then I put $3 million into investments, and then, you know, like, even if I only made like 1% on the investment each year, that would still most likely cover my living expenses. Besides the property tax. So property tax would have to come out of something else. But like, I live a very, very cheap life. Like, even when I buy Banana Republic t-shirts, it's usually when I find them at some place where there's a clearance, or, you know, they're dumped, or like it's the shirts that had like minor issues in the stitching, so you can buy an entire wardrobe for under $90. I'm a very, very cheap dude. The only thing I'm not cheap at is speakers. Yeah, like I could probably blow $5 million in a day on speakers. That's my one kryptonite. But I'm a very, like, it really doesn't take much to make me happy. Okay, where was I in chat? Okay, the glasses win. The sunglasses clearly win. You have voted for me to put on the sunglasses, and douchey sunglasses it is. Hello. Firing Sonny was a gainful action for both Louis and Sonny. True. Firing Sonny is how I got Steve. So let's see. I went through one guy before Sonny. There was a guy before Sonny. There was Sonny. And then there was Steve. So, like, if I didn't fire Sonny, I wouldn't have found Steve. Like, no offense. Sonny, you're a good dude. But, like, Steve, Sonny, Steve, Sonny. Steve wins. Steve has been here for almost 10 years now. And he's... Do you think Apple Repair will be retroactive to Home Button's Touch ID one day? My first iPhone is an 8, so I have sentimental attachment to it. But voluntarily, no. Through any sort of right to repair legislation, maybe. But yeah, voluntarily, good luck with that. Again, to be clear, my stance on their self-repair program and their IRP repair program is that they're doing the bare minimum necessary to virtue signal to legislators that they're already doing repair, even though that is clearly not the case with those garbage programs. I think they're doing the bare minimum necessary. I do not think that's ever going to really be useful. And I don't think they're going to go backwards in time to older devices. Because you have to keep in mind, when they are releasing a repair program for the newest devices, people don't fix the new ones. They fix old ones. It's not, you know. So the one-wheel GT has ghosting issues, and the company is still not recalled. Pedestrians have been hit, cars damaged, and many people are angry. You see, here's the thing. If they were a company where they were very YOLO when it came to safety and security and all that, whatever, fine. Like, at least you're consistent. The problem I have with Future Motion and One Wheel is that the entire primary basis of their reasoning for why repairs cannot be done by anybody but them. The reason they have to put in so many restrictions. The reason you're not allowed to install a battery of a higher amp hour rating. The reason that they're suing JW Electronics over the chip they allow you to put in a device so that you can choose a battery that you install. The reason that you can't do any sort of work on your own device is because of safety. So they're claiming that it's not about money, it's not about control, it's about safety. So if the reason for all of this is safety, then why is it that you're not recalling a product that is, in my opinion, clearly and evidently dangerous? It's the inconsistency that bothers me. They're very inconsistent there. My goal is to now make $150,000 making brisket. You have motivated my brisket instinct. That's funny. What do you think of Amazon with a 3% weekly turnover? I don't think about it because I have not heard that stat. I don't know why it is. I was reporting a YouTube video from the very beginning. Sonny, if you were here, I'd fucking throw something at you. Drunk as always. I'm not drunk, and go away. Are you going to venture up the White Mountains this summer? Maybe. Have you tried undervolting that laptop? Tends to help with thermals. The problem is it's already an Ultrabook class processor, so I'm already using a good amount of the processor in order to stream and do things. You saw how slow that Chrome tab was loading. This is an Ultrabook processor, to be clear. I'm using an Ultrabook processor to stream, so I can't really be too mad at it. But I'm not going to undervolt it. That'll make it even slower. In-person training could be paid, which could pay for the free YouTube videos. I get one person signing up for that training course once every 3 months, so that really hasn't paid for it. You found Steve, you goddamn Italian politician. What do you mean? I don't get it. I don't get that, Sonny. I'm sorry. Yeah, but in-person, we do in-person training. Honestly, Jessa's kicked my ass with that. Like, Jessa has 8 to 16 students paying her a month. I have one student that pays to come to our thing like once every 3 months. But Jess is also a better teacher than we are. Like, if I'm just being honest, she has experience as a professor at University of Rochester. She has a PhD. I have a way of explaining things that's very different from her way of explaining things, and I have a way of teaching that's different from her way of teaching. But if I'm being honest with myself, she has way more experience doing that shit than I do, or at least in like running a classroom. Hold up, is that a generalized electronics repair guide? It's really kind of a MacBook-centric one, but you can apply some of that stuff to general electronics. 4, membership that costs money for spoon feeding, yes. It's not the point. People easily pay $50 a month for courses that teach them how to make money. This is no different. There's plenty of experience. 1,000 people times 50 equals $50K a month. No. I have a forum. On this. It's $29 a month, and it topped out around like 90 members. Like at one point, it was all the way up to 130 members. And then it kind of peaked at that. So no, there's not 1,000 people. No, and even at the height of my channel's popularity, even after the CBC News piece in 2018, the Reddit explosion with component level board repair in 2016, like it peaked at around 120, 130 users, and then went down from there. So yeah, 50K a month. No, not even close. Ola Hammerstrom funded Sec 36. Thank you. I split that approximately 50-50 with the dude that answers a lot of the questions. But yeah, we do have a paid forum for board repair. Hi, Lewis. Hello, Jamie. How are you? We have a New York City realtor in the chat. The only New York City realtor that I can stand. I'm kidding. She's a good person. But she's still a realtor. At the end of the day, still a realtor.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Thank you, Michael Quaintance. Michael has been a viewer since 2013 from my memory, and he's still here. That's what we call a loyal viewer. Thank you. It's insane. Heard this from techs at 3 different hospitals. I'd love to speak to more people about medical right to repair stuff. I'd love to get involved more with that. There was one person that came to my store that was talking about how they get warehouses of stuff, and they'll get something that gets thrown out that has a bad connector on it, and when they fix the connector, they can sell the device for $50,000. Like, I'm in the wrong business. If I was in that business, I'd be a multi-millionaire right now. I just don't know how to get into it. I wish I did know how to get into it, because, man, it literally just seems like replace a connector, and something that somebody threw away is now worth $50,000. That's crazy. I would kill for that, but I guess you need the contacts. I think the thing is that you need the contacts, and you also need you need the social skills to kind of figure out how to weasel your way into that shit. You need the contacts, you need the schmoozing, you need to know where it is. Like, I don't know how to find that, but that would be cool. Like, you take the knowledge that the people at my store have, and you take the knowledge in Chris and Steve's head and you apply it to stuff that's like that instead of this MacBook shit. My God, we'd all be millionaires by now. Very curious about that. Is 15,000 including wages or excluding? Oh, yeah, including wages and other crap that they broke. Why didn't you rather sell them computer repair service instead of change it around to you selling them? I don't understand what you're talking about. They literally have custom charge connectors and don't allow any companies to sell third party. That sucks, JJ. Unfortunately, from what I know about Biomed, most everything has to be certified. Example given to me, IV pole belt 50 cents at the hardware store, and nope, have to get a $50 one from certified vendor. I wonder how much of that is a scam and how much of that has a legitimate reason behind it. And by legitimate reason, I don't mean a reason of like security safety, but okay, tell me what makes that more safe. Tell me where, when somebody went to the hardware store and bought the 50-cent one, that resulted in somebody's death, and demonstrate to me that that is a serious issue that is likely to happen again and wasn't a 1 in a million thing that happened. I'd love to learn more about the medical side of this, especially as we try to get more involved legally in that side. Clothes is something I'm frugal on because they are temporary. I've stopped being as frugal on the clothes. I've started focusing, like, I think I focused more on my appearance in 2013. Those glasses are the douchiest thing, but why? These lights are bright, and somebody suggested I wear them, so I had the chat put it to a vote, and now I wear them. They are douchey. You know what? I'm embracing the douche. When I got these sunglasses, I asked at the store for when I lost my other sunglasses while I was in Miami. I asked the woman at the counter, find me something that you think suits my personality. And she found me these. And I looked at her and I said, you must think I'm a douchebag after I put them on. And she had a giant smirk on her face. She wasn't saying no. She wasn't saying yes, but she wasn't saying no when I bought them. I agree, they are douchey. I'm embracing my inner douchebag. Stance on establishing and communicating functions as expected. I have no idea. That sentence is too confusing. Please communicate that better. What's your YouTube statistics tell you about your audience? Anything interesting? Not really. Honestly, I'll take that back. It tells me that people are interested in the opposite of what they say. So for instance, when I was looking for a new store, people said, listen, this channel is built on border pairs. Nobody wants to see this real estate shit. Okay, cool. Let's look at my subscriber numbers. Okay, real estate video. I gained 34,000 subscribers in 2 months. Border pair video. I lost 400 subscribers in a month. You guys are full of shit. My stats typically tend to show me that anytime somebody's complaining about the content, that they are 100% wrong. What people say they want and what they actually consume are complete opposites from each other. So what the analytics have told me is essentially never trust your comments. Or as House says, as Dr. House says in the long-running Fox TV show series, everybody lies. Any thoughts on Risk V? I have 0 thoughts on Risk V. Is that like Gary V? Would you make a special appearance on CSI? No, I don't think I could beat David Caruso. I guess we've found our man. PP Bus G3 Hot is now 12.56 volts. And I can't beat David Caruso. Is your only one real estate agent mean you don't like Alan? No, it means that I'm 99% certain that Alan has moved to Europe. So I think he's moved to France, so I don't know. Why sunglasses at night? We're going to turn that into a paywalled question. You know what? I'm going to turn that into a paywalled question. I used to have this at Ask Me Anything. We're going to make it an Ask Me Almost Anything. That's going to be a super chat only question. Embrace your inner douche. Indeed. There may be a lot of liability and litigation issues regarding right to repair of medical equipment. True, and I think that may be a part of the reason things are so expensive, but I also think it's a reason to make an excuse to have all these different walls up to say, like, this is totally about security. That's why it's going to be like that's why it's going to be $900 an hour for somebody to change the IP address on your medical equipment. Because here's the thing. To every big lie and piece of bullshit, it usually starts with a small bit of truth. The way manipulation works is they usually take something that is actually true, that is real, and then they extrapolate that over to something where it no longer applies so that they can get you to buy into a piece of bullshit that's not actually true. Like, it often starts with something that's real, but then it just turns into something that's not. For instance, like when Apple says right to repair may be dangerous because somebody may cut themselves on a piece of glass while replacing a screen. Like, true. You can technically cut yourself on iPhone 4 glass. And if you cut yourself in the right place, you can technically bleed out. But I would say maybe 1 in every 1,000 people that replaces a screen cuts themselves in the glass. And 1 in every 10 million that cuts themselves on there is actually resulting in a serious injury other than a paper cut. Ukraine war is super cool. What's your take? I don't really know much about foreign policy, so I don't really have enough information to go on because I'm not really a foreign policy buff or very informed there. So if I were to give you one, it would be very misinformed and sound very ignorant. From what I read in the news, it seems like Russia was looking for an excuse to invade. It looks like they manufactured an excuse to invade, to claim that they're rescuing people that are... It's kind of like... How about this? Like, if Canada invaded the United States because people were, getting shot in East New York during 2020, like if crime went up in 2020 in East New York and Brownsville and Flatbush and Brooklyn, and like Canada invaded us, like, yeah, technically you're right, crime did go up in that area, but like, really, you're going to invade us over that? I don't know, it seems like bullshit. It also seems that Russia seems to do this thing where they invade other countries every time the price of oil goes over $100 or $120 a barrel. Like, every time the price of oil goes up, it seems that Russia gets very frisky with invasions. Opinions on Juneteenth as a national holiday. I understand the significance of it, and I understand why slaves being freed is something that should be celebrated as a national holiday, and I agree with it from that point. It seemed to become a national holiday as a bunch of small businesses were getting ransacked, and it seemed to be done to like try to placate the people doing the ransacking, so that I have a giant bias as a small business owner that was standing in a store with a fucking titanium stick during riots during that time. But I understand the significance of it as a holiday and why people want it as a holiday. I just wish that it would have became a holiday under different circumstances. Midmark has a monopoly on exam chairs and beds. Their tech support told me I couldn't remove a fuse off a board because it's soldered on. How to get there in the first place, then? Very true. It's very frustrating hearing that. All the athletic girls wear aviators where I live, so I try to avoid them. Where is that? I've never seen a woman wearing aviators in my life, Alana. What do you think is the best way for a person with a passion for technology but no real marketable skills to get a job in the tech space? Nursing isn't what it used to be. I'm ready to try anything. This is really unpopular advice, but I don't agree with that whole, like, do what you're passionate about. I think people should do what they're good at. You become passionate at something when you're good at it. When you're good at doing whatever it is you do, you can improve people's lives. You can save them money. You can accomplish something. You can make somebody's day better. And above all, you make yourself good money when you're good at doing something that people want to pay you for. So, again, I'm not passionate about fixing motherboards. I'm not passionate about reballing SMCs. I'm not passionate about running a fucking jumper wire to a middle pad of a chip. I'm passionate about telling a customer, I can get your baby pictures back when Apple says you can't. I'm passionate about making $425 for 20 minutes of my time running a wire someplace and still having a reaction from a customer who's grateful because the manufacturer told them it would cost $2,000. I'm not passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about the outcome. Thank you for fighting for right to repair. Keep that fan spinning. How do you like your coffee? I don't like coffee because I try to avoid caffeine, but I really don't like coffee. I don't understand people's obsession with coffee. I think coffee tastes like shit, and I think coffee sucks. I think there's a lot of people that have this obsession with, like, I need to start my day with coffee. It's like, what you're really telling me is that you're a drug addict. I mean, caffeine is a drug, and the way a lot of people act about it. Like many of the people that I know that are obsessed with coffee, they act like drug addicts. I can start my day at 6 in the morning without any caffeine or any artificial uppers, and I prefer to keep it that way. But yeah, back to the passion question. I mean, I don't know how to find a job, I'll be honest with you. Like the reason that I started a business is not because I'm a great business person, it's because I could never find a job. It's because I couldn't get anybody to hire me. I'm really bad at job interviews. I'm almost as bad at job interviews as I am at dating. Like getting somebody to agree to, like hire me, that's almost impossible. It's very difficult. Even now, as I said, I had a job interview to be on the advisory board of a company that had raised $800 million recently that's valued at $5 billion. They wanted to pay me $2,000 a year. I've had a business for 13 years, been advocating for right to repair for almost 10 years now. I have a YouTube channel with 1.7 million subscribers. I have regulators on speed dial in numerous different countries, and you want to give me $2,000. Like, I don't know how to fucking do job interviews. I really don't. I don't know how to get a job in the regular world. I started a business because I failed at the regular world. Because I'm a weirdo. So if you're asking how do you get a job, I don't fucking know. I mean, I still don't know how to get a job. Is you only let's see. You need reference more anything. Louis medical devices. I don't know what the fuck that means. Why sunglasses at night? That is now going to be a paywalled super chat only question. Answered earlier in the stream. You can rewind the stream for an answer, or you can super chat $1,000 and I'll answer it. I'd like to see Lewis's video on repairing a manure spreader. I do have videos on repairing a manure spreader. Every time I do a video where I am at a legislative hearing and I'm responding to a lobbyist, you hear me fixing it. Embrace your inner douche. Yes, embracing my inner shill as well. Turn to the dark side, Lewis. I am. If you move to Florida and you're interested in expanding to include bike motor repair. No, I'm not. That's not my... It's a hobby of mine, but it's not something I would do professionally. Could use another wrench in here. Will you ever get a dog? Nope. What are your thoughts on handling day-to-day life altering depression and emotional stability? Twofold. A, seek therapy. We talked about this in the stream on Saturday night, where somebody was getting made fun of by somebody else because they were having bad experiences with dating, and I would say the same thing for somebody that's having really bad experiences with depression. If when I got a concussion, without anybody asking me, without any input on my part, people ran over, they called an ambulance, and they escorted me to a hospital because I hurt myself. I was in pain. I got hurt, so they just involuntarily said, we're dragging you to a hospital. Yet when people are this close to offing themselves or jumping off a bridge or shooting themselves, it's like, stop being a pussy, be happy, walk it off, or like you're a loser, you're an incel, this, that, and the other. People need help for mental health. I mean, seek therapy. Like, there's nothing wrong with seeking therapy. I've sought therapy in the past, and people who seek therapy are typically wind up being better people for it. You need the help of somebody else. The thing is, a lot of people don't want to change because they're afraid that if they're afraid of trying and failing. Like, if a lot of people there's a lot of people that are afraid that if I try and I fail, then I'm even like a bigger loser than who I see right now. But at the end of, hey, your life can't get worse from seeking a therapist. I would say seek a therapist. And the other thing is, you got to find shit that's going to give you some sense of purpose. Like, even the smallest little accomplishments, like even just little things with self-care, like, taking care of yourself when you wake up in the morning, taking care of your skin, exercising, going for a walk, changing up what you do in the day. Like, even just cleaning up your apartment, like really, really, really small things. Find the shit that you've been avoiding doing. Like recently, one thing that really silly, I hadn't cleaned out certain stuff in my closet for 15 years. I just kept taking it from me from place to place. So I actually cleaned out half of my closet over the weekend, and I felt really accomplished after. Like, I was feeling a little down, felt a lot better. Mainly, go see two things. Go see a therapist. Please do see a therapist. And anybody who looks down on you for it, fuck them. And B, You got to find something that'll give you a sense of purpose. And I'm not talking about a grand sense of purpose. I'm not talking about changing the world. Just clean up your little corner of the world, wherever it is. Even just cleaning out your closet, treating yourself a little better, exercising a little better. When you accomplish these really, really small things, you get a little kick of dopamine, you feel better. And the thing is, you're getting starved of that right now. You need those little kicks. They're very important. So you got to start with really, really small things. It's things that are almost impossible to fuck up. Women, what is your take? Advice? That's not a question. That's a word. Women are adult human females, and I don't really. Again, there's no question there. Anyone watching over the last 8 years knows you're not passionate about SMC balls. Very true, Paul Daniels, very true. You are correct. I'm not passionate about SMC balls. You see the video on Reddit of a massive line of people waiting in line to see a single bedroom apartment in New York City? I did, and I did a video about it today, but because my channel is destroyed, you probably didn't see it in your feed. But I will link you to it. This is why, by the way, I've become more of a whore and a shill when it comes to like saying like, subscribe, all this other crap. Because people who, like, this happens to me all the time. I'll get emails from people saying, can you comment on this in a video? And then I'll just respond to the email with just a link to me doing a video on that topic 2 days ago. And like, oh, wow, I didn't see this. Yep, I saw that. That's literally half a block away from my old store. Is a bad recession coming up? If so, how bad? I don't know. I'm not really good at predicting these types of things. Like I'm really bad at predicting these type of things. We've had an economy for a very long period of time that was based on artificially suppressed interest rates. And if that goes away, then a lot of the companies that have been started over the past 15 years might have just been fake companies. What I mean by fake company is they were never able to survive on their own. They could only survive off of cheap money and, get more and more people in. Now, when interest rates are artificially low, you have a lot of people that are going to look for places to put their money. People start to get a little bit more frisky with their money. They start, investing in things that are a little bit more risky and things that may not really be viable, may not really make sense because they got to get a return somewhere. So if that goes away, then a lot of companies that were started over the past 13 or 15 years that were never viable may go away. And if they go away, then those people will no longer have jobs. A lot of people that, honestly, people from my generation, like if you think about it, 2008, 2009 is when they became adults. That's when they got to be 19 or 20 years old. So a lot of people in my generation might have worked their entire life. Their entire adult life was spent working in a fake economy. Because if you look at interest rates over the past 50 to 70 years, they really haven't been as low as they were from 2009 through 2021. It's just never been like that. So a lot of these companies may just be gone. And if interest rates do wind up going back down because the Fed blinks and says, okay, mea culpa, we're not going to destroy the economy over this, well, then inflation just keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, which means that the prices of things go up and up and up. So people have jobs, but their jobs don't really mean as much as they used to when the price of everything continues to go up and up and up and up. So I think that there are going to be difficult times ahead. Regardless of whether there's a recession or there's inflation, I think that there are some difficult times that are going to be up ahead. You don't get an easy way out. Again, not financial advice. I'm just a schmuck on YouTube with an opinion that is usually wrong when it comes to economics. No makeup, hair, and a bun and aviators. Alana Laurent has a big puking emoji. Why the puking emoji? If you're dependent on coffee, you're doing something wrong. Drink coffee if you enjoy it, not because you have to. I'm for legalizing all drugs because I'm not a hypocrite who loves my drug and doesn't want to stop others who want their drug. See, I'm usually libertarian in that sense, but at the same time, after watching people that have started down the road of cocaine and heroin and looking at not only what it did to them, but everybody around them, it's different. You know, like people don't like wind up stealing shit from their brother and their sister when they are allowed to sleep on their brother or their sister's couch, and like getting into fights with prepubescent children in the hopes of being able to take a little bit of money to get their coffee fixed or their alcohol fixed. Like every drug is, you know, all these drugs are drugs, and they do fuck with your personality. They do mess with your mood. But coke and heroin are like massively different than weed or alcohol, in my opinion. You're your own boss, and that's pretty amazing. You know, I avoid referring to myself as a boss. It's something that I was talking about with my friend on Friday when we went to dinner. We had a nice steak dinner, my trainer and I, and we were talking about the fact that there's a lot of, when you look at dating apps, you'll see a lot of people, they put like they put on the description, like, you know, about me or my job, I'm a boss. And then you go out on a first date with them, and it's like, so how many employees do you have? And it's they go, well, what do you mean employees? I don't have any employees. And it's like, why do you call yourself that? Like that word is so disgusting. I don't refer to myself as a boss. In fact, you may have actually caught in this channel that sometimes I've called my employees coworkers, because I don't know why I did that. It just came to mind. It was like the word that came to mind, I guess, because of how I try to treat people. But I have 12 employees. I'm lobbying in 6 to 7 different states to try to get laws passed. I don't refer to myself as a boss. I think that word has been ruined by modern people. That word has gotten ruined. Like, that word has just been like fucking steamrolled over. It's used by a lot of douchebags that are narcissistic and want to make it seem like they're more important than they are. Do you take the fact that you are bad at interviews and consider that when you are conducting interviews? Yeah, that's why I don't really do job interviews anymore. What I do is I ask, okay, you're applying for a board tech. Okay, here's a motherboard. Figure out what's wrong with it. If you can't fix it, then tell me why you can't fix it and what your thought process was throughout the thing. Like, I don't ask you, why do you want to work at this company? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Tell me your biggest strength and your biggest weakness. Like, I don't do that shit. It's fucking, it's horrible. It's like, I hate that shit. Or like, you know, like, tell me your proudest moment. Tell me your biggest fear. Oh, fuck that shit. Like, okay, customer service. I'll just scroll through my tickets and I'll go, okay, which one is the most miserable ticket in Kevin's status? Okay, how would you deal with this customer? Like, just give me a hypothetical. Like, how would you deal with this customer? You know what we could do actually? Here, give them a phone call. Let's see how that goes. Like, I'll test you by giving you the actual job and seeing how you do for 5 or 10 minutes. So it's like a test run. But yeah, I do take that into context when doing job interviews by just not doing them. I don't ask you a bunch of stupid ass questions that have nothing to do with the fucking job, because like that may trip you up. You may be nervous that day or whatever. Let's see how you do the job. Again, that's how a job interview should be, in my opinion. Like, let's see how you would actually perform while doing the job. And I'm not going to ask you a bunch of ridiculous asinine questions that have nothing to do with it. Did you build your bike? I mostly Paul. I built my first one. But now it's like usually what happens is I'm building it and then I'm failing so badly at a particular part of it that Paul, being a mechanic with 21 years of experience, will feel bad for me, walk over on his lunch break and just fucking give me this. And then he'll start putting it together properly. I use a work computer, a self-built computer, and I also use this framework as well. This is a framework laptop. Love my little framework. What would you personally pay for a laptop for? Like $1,000, $1,200 maybe. What features do you think might be useful? I wouldn't pay for a gaming laptop because I wouldn't get a gaming laptop. I would get a normal laptop and a gaming desktop. I don't game when I travel. Most people don't travel. I don't even know why they want a gaming laptop. Failure is uncomfortable, but it lays the groundwork for change. True, Alana. Very true. Failure is incredibly uncomfortable, but it definitely the thing is that the more you fail, the more incentive you'll have to wind up changing. Because it sucks to fail over and over and over again. Like, at some point you get so tired of being a failure that at least I shouldn't say you. For some point I get so tired of being a failure that I'm open to changing in a manner that I may not have been open to changing before. Even if it's difficult, at some point it just gets embarrassing to fail over and over and over again. Nobody wants to fail over and over and over again. I don't think there's a chance we're living in a simulated reality. I avoid thinking about things that will have no effect on my actions, no effect on my life, that I have no control over. If I have no control over it, it has no effect on my life, and I have zero chance, and it's not going to, and there's nothing that I could remotely do over the course of my lifetime. Even if I were the most successful, richest person on earth to change it, then then it's just not something that I put a lot of thought into. I'm meeting with Ohio State Medical Association to support right to repair medical equipment. Any advice? Tell them the truth. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Tell them the truth. I don't work in the medical equipment device industry. So like, again, if we're talking about MacBooks, I could say, if this happens to your device, if you do this to your computer, it's going to cost $2,000 at the store and no data. It will cost you, I don't know, $300 at my shop, and you'll get to keep your data. That is why this is important. And then I could show millions of examples online. I don't work in the medical device industry. So I really wouldn't be able to give you specific advice that would be tailored to like what it is that you could say. But what I would say is tell them the truth. Tell them the truth as you know it. And usually that's enough. Like again, the truth in the medical industry, from what I see in my comments, seems way more disgusting than the truth with consumer electronics. So just tell them the honest truth. The other thing is what you should do is you should ask them, when it comes to right to repair, tell me your concerns. Don't give somebody a sales pitch. Read Jim Camp's Start With No. Don't give people a sales pitch. What you do is you ask them what their concerns are. You figure out what their concerns are. You figure out what their pain point is. And then you sell particularly to that pain point. You don't just sell randomly. Paul Daniels is here. I thought you said cope rather than coke, but in hindsight, I think cope is likely a more destructive drug. That's funny. I want to say I appreciate what you've shared, but most of all, your honesty to yourself has helped me to grow as a person. Thank you, Sky. I try to be honest with myself. A lot of the times I fail, but I do try to be honest with myself. Eli, the computer guy, said this. He said, you can lie to the world, but you should never lie to yourself. And he said, Eli said, when you're trying to convince your employees that your company is amazing so that they'll be excited to work for you and work towards your goals, and when you're telling investors about how amazing your company is so that they'll want to give you money, and you're telling your clients about how amazing you are so that they'll want to work with you, sometimes you may stretch the truth a little bit, and that's okay. But never stretch the truth with yourself. If you believe your own bullshit, that's when you begin to fail massively. And I agree with that. I think Eli took that video down. He took down a lot of the early videos that had a lot of good stuff. But archive.org has them. What's the next step for right to repair? Any votes in other states? Minnesota and Missouri have agricultural bills going for tractors, and I have a lobbyist in both of those states. I have a lobbyist in each. We have Ryan Roden in Missouri and Shep Harris in Minnesota, and they both do excellent work. And they've been dedicated to this cause and on it for almost a year now. Thank you. I'm only in computers because a small shop owner said, okay, here's a broken machine, fix them. Modern HR departments will put people like me out to pasture. Yeah, I avoid resumes because resumes are usually filled with lies to begin with. Also, like I know that I'm going to wind up looking for stupid shit like typos and shit like that and wind up excluding people who are good. And that doesn't work for me. What I do is I ignore the resume because if I read the resume, I'm going to wind up excluding a bunch of people based on shit that doesn't actually affect their job. Like how people present themselves on a resume and how capable they are of doing the job, there's often virtually no correlation between the two, at least in this field. So I will let in the maximum number of people. I'll interview, 20, 30, 40 people, and very quick interview. Let's see how you fix this board. Let's see how you'd handle this douchebag customer. And I'll hire the people that are the best at it. But yeah, like the whole, did you go to college? What is your biggest weakness? What are you most proud of? Like, fuck all that shit. Question 1, what state are you from? I was born in New York City. Question 2, what state are you in? I am in southern New Hampshire. I am meeting with Ohio State Medical Association to support right to repair medical equipment. Any advice? Tell them the truth. I would tell them the truth as you know it. What is the best gaming laptop for cheap? Don't buy a gaming laptop, make a gaming desktop, and then buy a normal laptop. You ever follow up on what happened to that dude you took the stick from smashing windows? No, because it's not my business. When the police arrest somebody, they do not tell random people on the street what happened to them. I don't know his name. If I go to the cops, they're not going to tell me what that person's name. Like, it's just no. That's just not a thing. What data recovery software do you guys use to do physical disk recovery? Rusalot, PC3000. I think Steve uses RStudio from time to time. A lot of Rusalot and PC3000. But that's really a question for Steve. Steve does the data recovery. I don't do data recovery. Yeah, Steve does the data recovery. What's with the glasses? The glasses are now a paywalled question. Any question that I get more than 5 times a day, if I've already answered it, I'm going to make it a super chat only question. That's me becoming an evil capitalist. An evil, evil capitalist. Is your bike like a thesis ship paradox? You keep replacing parts until you question if the original even exists. Besides the frame, there's not much on that bike that is normal. What do you do for fun? You always seem so busy. Driving while listening to music that I like through areas that are really nice, open voids of nature. I did some of that today and I enjoyed it. Rebuilding hi-fi stereo systems I enjoy. Some podcasts that I enjoy from time to time. Why are you getting audited? For the same reason that anybody in New York State gets audited, so that the state can get more money. I don't know. You'd have to... For the evil capitalist. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm wearing these sunglasses because these lights are bright and because the chat asked me to. They're also very douchebag-looking sunglasses, and I'm trying to embrace my inner douchebag. I like the douchebag sunglasses. What's... What is the update on the Fort Lauderdale location? There is no update. It's not a piece of software. There are no updates. I have to wait for my audit to be over before I can make any real moves with my business. Once that is over, then I'll be able to make real moves with my business. But once the audit is over, I'm out of here. How would you improve the situation regarding homelessness in large U.S. cities? Well, I did a video on this a while back, and I can't solve that as a problem. A lot of this is like, in my opinion, a lot of this shit is just hopeless. But I did a video on homelessness, NYC, so let's see if I can find this video. Here we go. This video is an oldie but a goodie. Fuck you, Cuomo. Where do I find this? Here we go. The New York City Council actually had something good. So there is a lot of homeless shelters that are nonprofits that are, in my opinion, run like a scam, where they're getting $3,500 to $4,500 per month per homeless person there from taxpayer dollars, and they look worse than a prison. And a lot of people avoid these shelters for obvious reasons. And the executive directors of those nonprofits are making $400,000 to $500,000 a year, while the shelters look like absolute dismal dog shit. Instead of spending $3,500 to $4,500 a month per homeless person to be housed in a shelter that's so bad they don't use it, what if we spent less than 50% of that to get them into actual, real, honest-to-God housing? That's what this particular proposal was doing. And I talked about it here. If you're a liberal or a more progressive-minded person, you likely like the idea of homeless people getting shelter. If you're a conservative person or you're a libertarian who believes in less government and less government spending, then you probably like the idea of cutting government spending in half by spending less money by weeding out the corruption in the system. And actually, maybe if you're an anarcho-capitalist, you'd prefer we spend $0 on the homeless via the government. However, spending $1,500 to $2,000 a month is half of spending $3,500 to $4,500 per month. So it's a step in the right direction. In terms of, again, the thing is this. I'm trying to figure out how to say this without a bunch of people saying I'm a giant piece of shit. But a lot of people call me a piece of shit anyway, so I don't really know why I care. So I think I used to be a lot more understanding of it when I was younger. And then there was a guy named Dino that slept on the couch and lived at the place that he worked, that I was working out of as an office 13 years ago. And he had been homeless. He had also been in prison 7 or 8 times. He was a very interesting fellow, like tattoos everywhere, kind of really hard and crazy, like very, very nice guy. He had a cat, and he's like, he would just like get the little key, would tweet at the kitty to get the kitty to come over. It was really adorable. He loved that cat. He wound up giving me that cat, and my dad wound up getting that cat when he wasn't able to have it anymore. But he was like, a hardened criminal type. He'd been in prison for assault, all types of shit. And he was saying, I was talking about the homeless. He said he challenged me a little bit, and he said, I want you to think about this. Would you become homeless if you lost all your money? And I said, yes. And he's like, no, you wouldn't. Because Jake would let you sleep on his couch. I'd let you sleep on my couch. Your dad would probably let you sleep on his couch. Your uncle may let you sleep on his couch. Even people that you may not really like would let you sleep on their couch for at least a weekend. How many people do you have to piss off in your family and in your life to the point where people would rather you sleep outside when it's negative 14 degrees outside rather than come inside? Like what do you have to do with all of these people? To your employer, your coworker, your friends, your family? What kind of person do you have to be to where the people that you know in your life would rather see you die on the street than be near them? Like, do you have to have gotten in a fight with them? Do you have to have stolen from them? Like, how big of a piece of shit do you have to be? And, as much as the narrative is that a lot of the people that are homeless are just, they were these kind, lovely, caring, loving people that just got fired at Walmart by their evil boss and now they're homeless, that does happen. There are people that slip through the cracks, 100%. There's also a lot of people that were like real fucking assholes. And I still thought that my friend Dino was wrong. I'm like, I'm going to prove you wrong someday. That's not it. And I remember when I opened up my office at 251 West 30th Street in the basement in John Grossbard's studio, it was right next to a place that provided a lot of homeless services. And there was one day that my friend Jake was not able to show up to work because the F train is a fucking piece of shit. The F stands on the F train in New York City for fucking piece of shit. If you're coming to work from Gravesend or South Brooklyn, oh my God, this thing is a piece of shit. It never works right. Fuck the F train. It's one of the worst trains in the goddamn system. But anyway, he didn't show up. So there's people upstairs, and it's like 97 degrees in the middle of summer. So I go to the line, and I'm like, yo, anybody want $200? Somebody here want $200 in free lunch to help me pack boxes for like a few hours? And somebody said yes, and everybody said, oh, yeah, you should take this guy. He helps me package the boxes for like a few hours. I give him $200. I ordered him lunch from Muscle Maker Grill. Stole my RMA box. Shit, you're not. Stole my fucking RMA box. There was another time, around a year later than that, where I go to San Diego to see a friend. And there's a homeless person. He's like, I'm hungry. I had gotten way too much food at this restaurant, so I had a $35 dish of truffled gnocchi. This smelled amazing. So I'm like, here, this is sealed. You can have it. I haven't eaten it yet. I give it to him. I keep walking. I get hit in the head and I feel wet. This is on Christmas Eve. I look. He threw the fucking truffled gnocchi at my head, and he actually hit it. It's like, fuck you, asshole. I don't know. Like I have dozens of stories like that, like where I've tried to do something nice for a homeless person, and it's just like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, why? So this is a plan that I think is a great plan because at the end of the day, it cuts out a lot of the corrupt nonprofits. This plan cuts out the corrupt nonprofits and it gets people into actual, honest-to-God apartments, like real homes. A home, an actual home, not a shitty shelter that's put together like garbage that's falling apart. So in this video, one of the things I would want to do as a politician is try to implement ideas like this. Again, sometimes the New York City Council can actually get something right. On rare occasion, they can actually not fuck up a wet dream. And this video is really a 21-minute deep dive into how fucked up the New York City homeless system is. There are ways that you can spend less money than we spend now and get a lot of homeless people into real housing. And I think that this would fix the problem for a lot of people. I think that this is a really great step forward. A lot of people don't use those shelters because they suck. But there are also a lot of people out there that are homeless because they're just fucking assholes. Like every single person in their life, they treated like shit. Again, to be at a point where your own family members are like, you know what, if you're going to starve on the street when it's negative 14 degrees, fine, fuck it. You got to be an asshole. Again, and nobody wants to talk about that because the thing is, there's this fear and there's this stigma in society where if you say that, that makes you uncaring. How dare you? You're an asshole, you're mean, you're heartless, you hate the poor. I don't hate the poor. The entire reason that I make all these fucking free videos and I try to teach people how to do what I do is because I want people that started where I started to be able to have a slight chance at making more money. Like there's a reason that I make all this shit available for free. There's a reason that when everybody says you should put all these guides behind a paywall, you should charge for these guides, you should not release all this stuff for free, you should not have a website like repair.wiki where people can literally copy your fucking repair solutions for free. You should not teach people how to do everything and then have a nonprofit that pays people to write guides on how to compete with your company. But there's a reason that all this shit is here. It's because when I started in this business, I didn't have the $30 to pay to, truthfully, I didn't have $30 that I could pay to somebody else to help get me started. So I do care about the poor. I want to see the poor do better. And like even all this right to repair shit. It's like, if I need to get access to a chip or a schematic or a diagram, I'm famous at this point. Let's be real. I have the douchebag glasses on so I can say some douchey shit. I'm famous. If I'm doing a live stream repair video and I'm like, oh man, if only I'd be able to get access to the chip. I can't. I guess I can't finish the stream. I'll get a box in the mail the next day that says, with no return address, and it'll have like a spool of 100 chips. That it'll be exactly what I need. This is because I want people who started where I started to be better off. But a part of the truth there is there's a lot of fucking garbage in our economy right now, and there's a lot of people that get looked over that shouldn't. But there's also a lot of people that fucked over every single person that ever tried to help them throughout their entire life, and now they're on the street. Those people are not going to be fixed by this program from the city council. Those people are not going to be fixed by this program. But there are a lot of people that just get down on their luck economically. They are, they fall on hard times. They fall to the system. Their family members are ill or whatever like that. They lost their friends or whatever. For those people, shit like this, I think would honestly help them. And I pushed for it in this video. The problem is that when you discuss the homeless problem in a serious way and you timestamp it and you provide citations and you're serious, you get 330,000 views. However, if you do a video about the homeless problem in New York City where you are yelling at a subway grate and you sound like a moron, here, let me show you what happens then. Let me show you what happens if you do a dumbass video. Here's what happens when you do a dumbass video. You get 9 million views. So when I go over the homeless problem in great detail and I point to a specific piece of legislation that would really, really help homeless people and save the city of New York money, it gets 300,000 views. When I yell at a fucking subway grate, it gets 9 million. I don't know. I'll link my homeless video down here because I genuinely believe that the solution that was proposed there, that's something that I would be open to. Again, like as somebody who's more conservatively minded than your average New York City resident by a large margin, I would be 110% on board with the city council to try their prescription to the homeless problem in the city there. I think it's a good start. I am behind in chat by 11 minutes. Let's see how many people said, I'm a piece. How dare you? How dare you? 300,000 views is not bad at all. Yeah, honestly, if I got even 30,000 views in the average video I did now a day, I'd be happy. Most of my stuff now gets like nothing at all. This 300,000 views in this video is back when my channel was not Eli the Computer Guide. My channel got Eli. Like, I don't know, Susan just hit a fucking button. She's like, we're done with Lewis's shit. 2,000 to 8,000 views a video for you, mofo. 2,000 to 8,000 views of that was back when before my channel got destroyed. And now my channel is done for. But back then, I could actually get that kind of figure. Okay, let's see. Let's scroll. I'm behind in chat by about 11 minutes. I got to catch up. How long have you been exercising 7 days a week? Honestly, since mid to late January. Mid to late January. I had a couple of new incentives. Stay single, my man. Best way to fly. I don't think staying single is the best way. I think we're social creatures, and I think we're designed to. I don't think anybody's designed to stay single until they're like 90 and die alone. It was his evil character arc. Lewis, if you talk to a homeless person, a lot of them are hated by their families and friends. I have talked to homeless people. I've actually tried to hire homeless people. I mean, that guy that was telling me all of this, the guy that challenged me when I was 100% sympathetic and empathetic for every homeless person without knowing them, the person that challenged me on that was living in a recording studio because he was homeless. He had a job at that point, but it wasn't a great paying job working at the studio. But he was the one that challenged me on that. When I was in my late teens and early 20s, I think I was a lot more idealistic and less realistic about the world than I am now. If you're adopted like me, you have a greater chance of becoming homeless when you get older. Unfortunately true, a lot of people do not treat adopted children like their own. What's the auditor thing? Is it a government process? Is your account needs to crunch the numbers? It's a government process. So the biggest problem I've had is that when they've asked certain questions, I've responded with answers to all their questions, and then they respond back with something that makes it seem like they didn't look at anything that I showed them. It's painful. I think a lot of my libertarian leanings is not from agreeing with it from an ideological standpoint, but rather just having the experience of engaging with New York City and New York State over the years and just like seeing the incompetence every single day. If I grew up almost anywhere else, I'd probably not have my disdain for government. I got recommended the great video again today, lol. Funny. Do you think YouTube shadow ban you like Eli? No, banning is different. I don't think I'm banned. I just think that my content has gotten boring, and as a result, the algorithm looks at it and it's like, yeah, we're not recommending this shit to people anymore. I already did Josh Keaton fan 2 or 3 times. Love your book going off on Andrew Cuomo taking his book deal money. Yeah, I couldn't help myself there. Anybody, yeah, I hate that governor. There's very little that I hate about, but oh man. What is the audit thing you spoke of? New York State audit. It has been going on at this point for almost a year. We're getting close to the 1-year anniversary. Oh boy. Yeah, that's fun. I've had the same CPA for about 12 years. I got terminal bone disease and I can't even... Oh my God, you're going crazy. I feel bad that you have terminal bone disease. I really do. Like, I hope that you were able to find a way to live out the rest of your life and something better. But yeah, I just can't have all that negative shit in my chat, man. I'm sorry. Seek some therapy. You shouldn't, honestly, you shouldn't be here. You should be seeking therapy and dealing with your friends and loved ones. Not here cursing at people. What do you think of makerspaces? I don't spend much time in them. I think it's cool that they exist. You look good, I want to be like you. No, don't be like Louis. Look up to other people. You need that audit for cash flow process of moving. Well, the main thing is I need to know how much money they're going to ask for. In the beginning, I actually thought that they were going to say that I overpaid my sales tax. So it looked like in the beginning I overpaid. And then they started saying, wait a second, these things that are not sales taxable, why? We're just going to assume they are. And let's just create interest and let's ask for all of that back over the course of 3 years. And let's ask for interest and penalties on top of the things that were not sales taxable. And then I go, well, all these regulations say that this is not sales taxable. And then I get back bupkis. And then it's been a long pain in the ass process. At the end of the day, what I need to know is, will I have money left in the bank to pay people if they move? If I have no money to pay people if they move because the state takes all of it out of, or let's say the state doesn't take any of it, but I go to court and I wind up paying a lawyer $150,000 or $200,000, then it doesn't even matter if I win at that point. I can kiss my business goodbye. It's bankrupt. So what I need to do is I need to figure out at the end of this, do I have money left? So if I have to tell my employees, mea culpa, I'm sorry, no more business, I can't pay you, I'll feel really bad, but at the end of the day, I can live with myself. If I tell people, hey, move with me across the country, and I'll give you so that you can keep your job, I uproot them. I get loyal people to move away from their families and friends and start their life fresh in a new part of the country. New York State yoinks all my money away. Then I made them move across the country for nothing. And I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I did that. So I have to wait for it to be over before I can move. But once it's over and I understand what the results of it are, then I can move. Before I know the results of that, I can't. And again, I truly feel bad that you have terminal bone disease, but this whole cursing and screaming at everybody, I feel bad, I really do. Therapist, loved ones, spend time on that. Honestly, I don't feel bad banning you from my chat because honestly, this is not healthy for you. You shouldn't be screaming and cursing at random people you don't know in my chat. You should be spending time with family, loved ones, and especially a therapist. Mike, yes. I have not looked at OpenAI at all. I don't know what that is. It's not a witch. I really, I don't believe that I'm even remotely close to important enough for that to happen to me. I just think it's, again, I dealt with New York City and New York State bureaucracy before I had a YouTube channel. I dealt with it before anybody knew my name, and I dealt with it now. And I can tell you up front and with experience and honesty that regardless of whether you're famous or nobody knows you, it's always miserable. You feel bad for potentially leaving people behind if you leave New York City. Some people I would feel bad about because they really didn't do it. Some people I don't. So the people that I wouldn't feel bad leaving behind are people where it's like, hey, can you do these 20 things to help the business? I'll give you any amount of money that you want. Just tell me what you want. More days off, more break time, more money, whatever. Can you do these things to help the business? And they just go, no. Or even worse, and they just won't get back to me at all. I won't feel bad leaving them behind. The people that have done everything that I've asked them to do to help the business, I'm going to feel like puking if I'm forced to leave them behind. And I'd honestly feel like puking if my audit doesn't go well and I'm not able to pay them anymore. Because I know what's waiting for these people on the other side of it. It's like a job at U-Break I Fix making 15 or 17 an hour. Fuck that. But there are people that I would feel really bad leaving behind. The people that said, yes, sir, thank you, sir, to everything I've ever asked them to do. The people where I've said, here are things it would really help the business if you do that. And what's really weird to me is when I'm doing the job of the union, sometimes I feel like I'm the union rep. I'm their union rep, even though there's no union for this business. When I'm saying, okay, if I get it, this is additional work, or this is different from what we hired you for, how much more money would it take for you to be open to doing this? I want you to think about it for a week, think about it for a month, come back to me in a month, let me know what it would take for you to do this. And they don't even say no or make an offer of something high. They don't say anything at all. If I'm leaving those people behind, I'm not going to feel bad. Because again, why should I feel bad leaving you behind if you weren't really willing to do the things for any amount of money that would help the business be successful? But people that have literally busted their ass for years, I'm going to feel sick leaving them behind if I have to leave. I'm probably going to throw up the day that I have to leave people that for years and years did everything that I asked, went above and beyond, treated the company like it's their own. And if I do wind up having to leave people like that behind, I'm probably going to wind up giving them a 5-figure severance package to appease my guilt. And I honestly don't even think that would appease my guilt. I don't want to leave anybody behind. It's just at some point it's you can't deal with this shit anymore. Too much stress. I mean, if I had to leave somebody like Steve behind, I'd puke. I would probably throw up. Like, I would throw up out of guilt. Do you think legacy car manufacturers will go the way of Tesla in terms of right to repair? I don't. It's not that I think they will. They already have. So one second. So this is one of the biggest fallacies that exist right now. One of the biggest fallacies is that Tesla is the only company that's ever, been against right to repair in any sort of way. And to be clear, we kick Elon Musk and Tesla in the balls on an almost weekly basis on this channel. We do. But if we're going to be realistic here, we have to go over the fact that other companies have done the same. So if we go to question 1, the Coalition for Safe and Secure Data created content that said that right to repair supports redlining and racism. Let's just get a citation for that, because they deleted they deleted their website, and they deleted their videos, and they deleted their YouTube channel. So you can't find this unless you go to my video. This is a video that I did a while ago. I'm going to link it in the chat for all of you. Let's link it in the chat over here. Okay, here we go. Got that linked in the chat. I'm also going to link this in the chat. So, Coalition for Safe and Secure Data produced a website and also produced videos claiming that if you allow this bill to pass so that other people can fix your car, people may rape you in a parking lot. They may be able to break into your home by hacking your garage door opener. Why is your business in review or audit? Businesses do get audited by the state and the city the same way anybody can potentially be audited. The problem is that unlike a federal audit that's done by the federal government, this one's being done by New York government. And New York government is something that, well, if you want to get an idea of how New York government runs, watch this video. Watch this video. If you want to get an idea with a recording of how New York government runs, watch this video. Just like this'll tell you all you need to know about this fucking state. But needless to say, it is. I'm very, very happy that over the past 12 years, I've had a professional CPA dealing with all of this stuff, who is very helpful to me throughout the entire process. But it is still annoying. There are some things that there are certain things I just can't publicly share on YouTube until the process is over. But again, like this is one of the things that bothers me is, let me see if I find this. Like, I've been public about this. I do not give a fuck if you pay cash. You're still going in the system. You're still paying sales tax, all this shit. A lot of people hate me, so I've been squeaky clean when it comes to this shit. Like, there are so many businesses in this industry that cheat on their taxes. I don't, because I know how many people hate me, and I'm not going to give any of these fucks a reason to get my business closed by that. So it pisses me off when I've done everything by the book, and in spite of doing everything by the book, like, somebody's still just trying to stick the tip in. And like, you could see an example of them trying to stick the tip in with this video. Just like watch you'll learn everything you need to know about how New York City does business when you watch that fucking video. But back to this. So this Coalition for Safe and Secure Data went over how right to repair supports racism. It supports redlining. It's going to get people to hack into your garage door opener and break into your house. They're going to follow you throughout parking lots and sexually assault you. And which companies supported these commercials? Which companies supported that propaganda? General Motors, Toyota, Ford, Honda, and Nissan. In 2020, these companies were not known for their electric vehicles. Tesla was. Is Tesla very friendly to right to repair? Not really. But when you ask, are traditional automakers going to go this route? They already have, because they put $26 fucking million into this shit. They put $26 million into trying to convince you that right to repair supports redlining, racism, rape, and burglary. It's right here. Watch the video. I included the commercials, and I also included the citations from their website that has now been taken down. There's a reason that their website has been taken down, because they don't want people to know that they were lying their asses off to try to scare people out of their consumer rights. But more importantly, here's a funny thing. A lot of the times, the actual manufacturers don't even know what the lobbyists are doing. These lobbyists will play such dirty tricks. These coalitions to try and create negative PR and right to repair will play such dirty tricks that the manufacturer isn't even aware that they've gone that far until you go to the manufacturer and tap them on the shoulder and say, hey man, these people claim to represent you. You gave them $5 million. What do you think of what they're saying? Like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of FUD even by our standards. We're sorry. Okay, I'm behind in chat by about 10 minutes, so let me catch up a little bit. Are you watching Better Call Saul? Never saw that show before. Your long streams have been awesome for long drives. Thank you. One of your New York City real estate videos showed up in my feed. That's how I found your channel. Hopefully you gave it an upvote. Thank you. If you leave New York, where do you prefer to go? I don't know yet. I'm still kind of in the part of exploring the U.S. Louis, I'm at a particularly public point in my life with regards to some family matters, and I'm so curious. How has your relationship with your family been over the years? I don't really have one, to be honest with you. I believe that you have to have the highest possible standards when it comes to relationships that you're, quote, not allowed to like give up. Like a lot of people will say, well, you know, that's your mother, that's your uncle, that's your cousin. And it's like, no, you understand. I'm not going to blindly put up with everything that a family member does just because they're family. If anything, because I'm stuck with you, my standards for how I should be treated should be higher than with other people. That's, you know, I'm probably get along better with people that are, you know, chosen members of my life than people that are, than that people that are, you know, I was born into being family with them. Okay, where was I? I am behind. I'm at 10:01 in chat, and it is now 10:09. So I'm behind by about 8 minutes. Do you think there's a chance you'll lose your audit? Well, we'll see. There's a chance at everything, honestly. There's always a chance for something. There's a chance I win. There's a good chance I win, but, you know, it's been like 10 months at this point. I think that there's a good chance that I win just because, again, I have records for literally everything. Like if somebody says, well, why is this? Well, how do you prove this transaction's out of state? Okay, here's the address of the customer. Here's the tracking number demonstrating that they signed for it in their location in another state. Like, I literally gave them like 900 fucking pages of shit. It's like, okay, you want proof that this transaction? Okay, cool, let's do this. Like, I have paperwork for everything. I have paperwork for everything because I am an OCD paranoid maniac when it comes to my business. So like, you want to know everything for these 3 years? Cool. Here's 900 pages of tracking information. Here's 3,500 pages of invoices. Have fun. Like, I'll give you all of it. I'll give you all of it, and along with the fucking ticket information, customer communication. Like, again, at the end of the day, it doesn't come down to whether you're right. It comes down to whether a bureaucrat thinks that you are right. Do you plan on doing more real estate videos? I like them. When I look for a new, once I'm finally done with this process, and I actually do look for a place in another state, I will most certainly do a real estate series. Any thoughts on Amazon warehouse having a labor shortage? If they're having, I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was that sales were slowing down, so they were slowing down and building some of their warehouses, and that's because of demand going down, and that's why their stock went down recently. I didn't know they had a labor shortage. If they have a labor shortage, I would suggest raising the asking salary for people and then going from there. You don't owe nothing to nobody. Why feel guilty for making a good business decision? Well, if it's not about what would you owe, it's not about like what's on paper. It's if somebody has put this amount of effort into my company, then I believe that I owe them this amount of loyalty. Not because it's the law, but because I want to treat people the way I believe I would deserve to be treated if I was in their situation. That's the way it should be. Employment is generally an adversarial process when the employer needs valuable work, while the employee should demand value for their time, but too often is lopsided. I'm missing that. If someone like Sonny worked for you and you left them behind, would you puke for leaving them? Fuck no, I would. Hell no, I would never feel. You kidding me? I kick Sonny out of that. No, that's different. Have you made a video on how your business makes money, breaking down all streams of income? No, that's nobody's business. Okay, it's the auditor's business. It's none of your fucking business. Honesty, yes. Transparency, like, not your business. You say EV's latest video. I haven't. I'll be honest, I like AVE, but I'm not subscribed. You know, I don't use a lot of those power tools. I mean, don't get me wrong, watching AVE review a blender, that is quality content. That is content that all of you should watch at some point in your life. Watch AVE, open the box of a blender to get started reviewing it. That's quality shit right there. But like, I don't watch every one of his videos because I don't do a lot of the work that he does, and I don't use those types of power tools. It's just not my, like, I wasn't raised in an environment where I used a lot of those types of tools, and most of the stuff that I work on is microscopic. But yeah, watching AVE open a blender, I could watch that 1,000 times. That's art. You got to watch that. How do you introduce your new cats to your old cats? You put them in the room and you say hi, and then you let them get to know each other. Why would they care if the results are desirable? Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. That question doesn't make any sense. The car companies are like that union who publicly claims to support right to repair, but secretly tell the politicians not to support it. Ah, you're thinking of the Maryland Farm Bureau. Would you do a cooking? I don't care about that state now after C.T. Wilson accused me of being a racist because he doesn't understand source code, and I called him out on it. It was really weird when somebody from the Maryland Farm Bureau told, like, in a fucking email to my lobbyist said, most farmers don't really care to fix their own equipment or even know how